Hey, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are at. Saverick here. I'm bringing you guys my personal build for the New World. I didn't want to share this until the New World came out because I wasn't sure. I mean, I was sure in my mind, but I wasn't sure in practice if the build that I'm about to show you, Bow Ice Gauntlet, kicked as much butt as I thought it was going to kick. And it, so far, kicks butt. I'm like level 13, I think, with the bow, or 14 right now, but I want to show you guys what I've been doing for leveling up, most of the time in groups, but sometimes solo. Right now, this is my group leveling build. This is the build I've been using for leveling, for world PvP, for dungeons. It's been insanely strong. I do a ton of AoE damage, like more damage than probably all the other Great Axe players or Fire Staff players. Don't hate on me, guys. I just saying the damage that this build puts out is good, and I'll tell you. I'm gonna run you through why. All right, so I go through. Leveling up, I just get the penetrating shot. The reason for penetrating shot is because it does an animation cancel after a shot if you time it right. So you can shoot an extra shot, like, I don't know, maybe 50% faster. That does 150% weapon damage. This thing hits like a truck, and it goes straight, and it flies faster, and it goes through enemies. It's a really, really strong, really good shot. It does more damage instantly than any other shot here, unless you can hit 5 arrows. I would not even try this. I've done it before in dungeons. You can do it, but it's such a pain in the butt to set up. You take more time setting it up than you do just shooting stuff, so don't even waste your time. This winter shot. Moving forward, you have to get finishing shot for 20% more damage to get rapid shot. And the reason why we take rapid shot, a lot of other hunters will tell you to pick, poison shot or evade shot, is the single target damage on this is absolutely probably one of the best damage single target skills in the game, because you can get up to 350% weapon damage. Not to mention you reduce its cooldown by half if you can hit all 3 shots. And if they're below 50% health, never mind this damage, extra damage, this extra damage, this extra damage, you also get another 3 cooldown reductions. Also, the chain lightning things proc off of each shot of this, so that's even more damage if you have like the chain lightning, chain cold, chain whatever. That's so strong. It's really good, hitting 3 people with 3 shots. Plus the last shot does a knockback, which is also good with our Ice Gauntlet build over here when we're using Ice Shower, and I'll talk about this as well in a second. And then we have to get Evasive Tactics, because again, another 20% raw damage to everything. You can't not take that. You just roll, shoot, roll every 5 seconds, and get permanent 20% damage boost. And rate of arrows, because the range on this thing is insane. You can shoot people running away from you so far away. It's awesome. Plus, getting this one ability, 150% weapon damage plus another 85. So this one ability does 230% weapon damage. Also one of the stronger abilities in the game. As far as one ability, like this only does 200%, right? Granted, you can upgrade it to do an extra 20% more damage, so 240% damage, but this is 235 right here, so basically the same, and you do it over 12 seconds instead of over 20 seconds. So this is what I'm going, and this is a solid AoE hit. You can shoot from far away. You can hit people behind trees and rocks and stuff with this. Very good. Yeah, so once you get your if we go down the line this way, though, we start with 1 2 3, we'll go 4 5, then we're going back over to get just raw damage, right? Gotta get all the passives, because then you can start one-shot headshotting things like crazy. So I always take long range next, just 20% more damage from 10 yards away. This 10 meters, to give you an idea of what 10 meters is the exact width of the Ice Gauntlet thing. Because this is weird, because it says a 5-meter radius, but that actually means it's 10 meters long. So if you see one of these on the ground, it's exactly the whole diameter, not radius, diameter on the ground. That's 10 meters, and that's pretty good. That's actually really easy to stay 10 meters away from somebody. You'll see people dodging around you all the time. You just know that if you keep them between that width, you're 10 meters away and you get that boost. Okay. Then after you take long shot, the aim shoot, heavy shots boosts it from 170% extra damage to 200% damage. And the arrows fly faster. I love heavy shotting. I do it. I try to do it more and more frequently, because those heavy shots, like if you get a crit and you get the 20% damage bonus, and you get another 20% damage bonus, And then you get another 20% damage bonus, and if they're low, another 20% damage bonus, and if they're full health, another 20% damage bonus, and if you hit them in the head, then another 20% damage bonus, and if they're bleeding from your other thing, 10% damage. It's a lot. You can really, heavy shots can, I mean, I'm at level 28 right now, and I'm heavy shotting things for like 1500 damage right now. That's how hard a heavy shot will hit. I mean, not even with the mark, really, or the headshot. I'm doing it before these two talents. I'm not even at this talent yet. So on top of that, you know, you have a much higher crit chance. Heavy shots are just massive painful things if they hit, and they're easier to hit because they fly faster. You could take your time to aim them, and I'll show you why it works with this build too. So yeah, you obviously kind of going through the rest, you know, opening strike, this ability, the thing you have to think about with this ability is this basically makes your heavy strike opening shot another skill. Because it's like, it's the equivalent of, you know, an evade shot, 125% damage. It's the equivalent of, you know, hitting 2.5 of these arrows in a heavy shot, right? It's almost as much damage as, well, 30% damage away from, it's more damage than a penetrating shot, right? Because you're doing 200%. Now you're doing 220% if it's been 10 seconds, 240%, you know, 260, 270, you know, 290 just in talents, but don't get me started on the actual crits and headshot scales afterwards. So you always heavy attack opening shot. Try to let people see if you can hit. I pull things in groups first because I get this bonus and they don't, or maybe they do, but I'm still gonna take my bonus. Yeah, and that kind of explains the rest of the reason why, like, you're not gonna get a whole lot of value out of that because you don't need it as much. You've got ice block and you can eat in your ice block, and we'll walk through that in a second. I like this a lot. It's really good. I think more and more PvP based. I will probably, if I were doing a PvP build, I don't know that I'd take Rain of Arrows, but I really like Rain of Arrows right now. Even though it's a slower animation, this holds you still, this holds you still. Both of these slower animations, but that's okay because we were fast. If you guys don't know this, haste actually stacks. 10% haste here, plus when you swap, another 10% haste. So you actually get 20% haste for a brief period for 2 seconds every time you roll. And so it's actually, you're actually moving faster. And once you get to 150 dexterity points and you get the stamina reduction from your dodge, it's really strong. Could not say enough good things about this combo right here, because you can chase people, you can run from people. Basically no one can ever catch you ever if you play it right. And then you just go in, after you're getting the headshot, you're going and getting speed. Then after the speed, you're going for the slow, and I'll show you why we get this in a second. This also stacks 16, then 17. You're getting, okay, so if you have this or this, or if you have the bleed on them, basically the bleed or 2 of your ice skills, if you lock them in your ice thing, which you're almost always trying to do, when they're locked in your ice, that's another 10% damage because they're debuffed, right? And then you roll for a little more movement speed, but this is flexible, right? This one you don't really need. This can go to armor, because this is usually when you're taking most of your damages, when you're stopped and you're aiming, not when you're dancing. And so I'd flip this for armor, and I would probably or I'd really just flip. The really one I was flipping is really between these two, because like 5% cooldown reduction is meh, but imagine, okay, you got 5 foes on the ground and you're AoEing. If you hit all 5 of them below 50% health, boom, 25% cooldown reduction because you hit 5 people with that, right? Or if you hit someone below 50% health with 3 rapid shots, or if you penetrating shot 5 guys, which I do, I penetrate all the time. Okay, lots of penetration. And so hitting people below 50% health with all of these skills, which can all hit multiple times, this actually gets up to a lot more, especially if they're low. You'll get things back a lot faster, and you're just going to start mowing things down. That's the idea here. That's why this is actually Closet OP, because you can hit a lot of things if you're really AoEing things down. Maybe in wars as well. This is really going to be the AoE spec. This only hits once, right? It just puts a dot on them. But this, you can hit 5 people. If they're all anyone that's lower than 50% health, you're getting this back quicker, and you're getting all these back quicker. And this is where your strength is. And the reason why you don't take these skills is because you're not reliably penetrating people and trying to hit people in the back. That's not the goal. The goal isn't to use this skill for that. You're using the skill for a quicker shot, a quicker, faster cast shot that's straight and flies far, flies fast. So it's like a kill shot, basically. If you remember, wow, it's a kill shot. It's a quick shot. I mean, you use it as often as possible, but it's just a quick shot that you weave in between your attacks. So you're not using it for this. And this is 20 meters away, and 20 meters is about the distance where they're too far away. You really want them between 10 and 20 meters. I don't want to fight people. When I fight people, I literally run up right next to them, and I shoot them from 5 to 10 meters away. Ideally, I should say 10 meters away. But they're squirmy, so I don't even care. I need to hit them, so I have to be as close as possible while keeping 6 feet apart. But that's the idea of why you pick here. Evade shot's good, but you don't really need it when you have Ice Gauntlet. That's what I've kind of realized. I was like, I don't need this dash back to dodge people because I'm chopping with my Ice Gauntlet. And then Poison Arrow, it just takes too long to do damage. And if you're accurate with your shots, you don't need this as much. This is a guarantee hit almost always because you can shoot it at their feet. So that's good, but I don't want to wait 20 seconds for them to die. I want them dead now. But if you are being highly mobile, I mean, these are still really good. You could get this 15% more haste, which will stack. You switch to your bow, do an evade shot. You'll be 25% haste for 5 seconds, so you can run really fast for 5 seconds, which is awesome. But again, I'm also noticing that haste is a little less valuable because once you get 3 dodges, and you're swapping your weapons constantly to not keep the dodge, you lose this when you swap out of the bow, right? I don't know if you lose that when you swap out of the bow, but because you're getting most of your speed from your dodges, it's almost not even worth. So those are my thoughts there. That's why this has kind of lost its place with me. It had its place with me in the beta, but now I've kind of lost it because I want this slow. And here's why I want the slow. Okay, 15% slow for 4 seconds. Now we're going to go into the Ice Gauntlet. You'll see I've only put 14 into the Ice Gauntlet. And I'll explain why, because these are only 14 that matter. That's why. Let's go through the tree real quick, and I'll show you how the synergy works. 1, Ice Gauntlet converts mana to stamina. The way this works is actually way stronger than the way they make it sound. When you block light attacks with this, like let's say you're at 0, or let's say you're at like 1 stamina, just enough to do a block. Maybe not 1 stamina, maybe just enough to hold 1 block, maybe 30 stamina, right? You do a block. And what happens is, like, anything that hits you with a light attack or whatever attack that's not heavy to destroy your block will actually charge your stamina by 15. You'll actually net gain 15 stamina. So you'll lose 3 mana, which you don't need mana in this build because you're an archer. You just gain stamina. So you can sit there with 30 stamina and they can hit you 3 or 4 times. You can block all those attacks and go straight back to full stamina. So it's insanely strong. I'll have to show you some clips from that. And then 2, Ice Shower. This is your bread and butter, baby. My whole plan, my whole strategy revolves around landing an Ice Shower. You run in, you roll right on top of them, and you hit them with an Ice Shower. And they're rooted for 1 second, blocks all sprinting, and so they can't sprint, can't run away, can't dodge or roll, can't do anything, can't dodge your skills whatsoever. And they're slowed by 50% for as long as they're under the shower, and then once they exit the shower for 3 seconds after they finally leave the shower. The Ice Shower here lasts 4 seconds, but then we get it to 7 seconds. So theoretically, you could have them not be able to roll or do anything for 10 whole seconds, which is really, really strong. Next, you want to take Entomb, and the reason for Entomb, it's the killer defensive. If you get Gravity Welled on, if you get jumped, if you get it's a quick oh shit button, right? Like oh snap button. It's a quick oh snap button where you block and you're protected. What's really cool is if you can eat and then dodge, drain all of your stamina, get 3 dodges out away, block, let your stamina come back while you're eating, so that your food's now healing you, and you're protected from all damage until they kill the Entomb, which they almost never do. Which you're back to full stamina. It's back to a full reset. You give yourself the full 10 seconds. You basically get Ice Shower back almost. You basically get your other cooldowns back. You get your bow cooldowns back. If you sat the full 10 seconds, boom, you're ready for another 20% damage surprise heavy shot on them, because that synergizes well with this surprise attack ability, right? It gives you time to get your cooldowns back. I mean, granted, your enemy's getting them back too, but if you're in trouble, you're gonna need that. And I'm like almost unkillable now because of this. Anyone that drives me with any gravity well with anything, I just put this on, and there's nothing they could do. It's really good. It's really good. Then you need, this is useless. This is useless too, because you're never using cold, light attacks, heavy attacks. You don't use it. So, I mean, this is at least has a chance to be used. If you absolutely, I mean, I don't even think this has a chance to be used. There's neither of these have any chance of being used. So it's just, it doesn't, you can pick either one. Neither of them matters, right? Ice Storm, you do it for the 25% slow. And here's what I was talking about. This 25% slow. Okay, so the max slow in the game, let me show you guys something here. If I go over to my newworldfans.com, we go to guides, sorry. We go to, what is it? Is it a quick reference? Yeah, buffs and debuffs. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Debuffs. All the buffs and debuffs stack up to this. That Ren 30%, 45, 50. So you can stack your slows. You can stack your speed buffs on yourself. You can stack your slows on your enemies. You can stack your empowers. All of that stuff stacks. So if this slow stacks to 50%, imagine this. Someone's running away. This is a 20-meter range. The other thing, this doesn't tell you the range, but this is like 40 meters. It's 40 meters. Take my word for it. It's around there. It's twice as far. You can shoot this thing super far. If you can shoot this thing and you can land this 15% slow on the enemy, enough to roll up to him, roll speed, because you're actually one of the fastest characters in the game, then you can roll and you can get this slow on them, and now they're at a 40% slow. You can do it either way. It's actually better if you hit them with the Ice Storm first. If you get within 20 yards, I usually try to hit them with the Ice Storm first. If you hit them with the Ice Storm first, and then you're able to roll in, swap weapons on the roll, hit them with the rain of arrows, then they're at a 40% slow while they're under the ice shower, under the Ice Storm. So that's 40% there, those two abilities. And then you've got another 50%, which gives you enough time to then go grab them into an ice shower, which then they're 50% slowed pretty much indefinitely. And then you just roll back and you just pop, 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 dead. It's pretty much how it happens. Pop, pop, pop. If you can do an opening shot into a pop, pop, into a finishing shot, but that, I will show some clips, and that's how it's done. Okay, back to the Ice Gauntlet. So that's the reason for this. Now, where this things get juicier than most people even have the foresight to envision into. 10% incoming damage is increased by 10% for 3 seconds to enemies inside Ice Storm. So the debuff is, as soon as it hits them below 50% health, they get this debuff. They take 10% more damage. So that's going to stack. That's going to increase all of your bow damage by another 10%. Tell me what other weapons give your bow another 10% damage. Okay, yeah, a bunch of other ones have Rend, but that's not all, folks. After you get the 10% more damage there, you get your increased duration. You get movement speed for self and your friends, which is really good. I think you have to have the Ice Gauntlet on for this to work for some reason. But your friends always get it. I don't know why. I have to double check that. Don't quote me. But then you get another 10%. And Rend does work the exact same way as applying an effective 10%, because it just takes 10% of their armor reduction off. So net, you're still doing 10% more damage. So if you get them in a storm and a shower, they're going to take, and they're below 50% health, they are going to take 20% more damage. And that's not all, folks. That's why you pick up Mark, because your goal is to hit them in those things and then do another 10% more damage. So now you've got an effective 30% more damage to anyone who is in your cold stuff, or any, basically, if they're in the cold stuff and they're low health, you're doing 30% more damage to them, which is wrecking. Okay. And that's not all, folks. What Ice Gauntlet also gives you is anytime when we're using Ice Gauntlet, we have to, the goal is always to run right next to them and trap them with this. Pop this, roll back, and then do our combo. while you're in harm's way when you do that. So that's where Defiant Freeze comes in. So when you're in harm's way, running close to them, if they're melee, if they're ranged, they're not as harmful, depending. That's where you get 20%. So every time you're stuck in a cast while you're in there temporarily to get your slows, you're going to get that Fortify, which is going to make you tanky. Then you're also going to get this Entomb. So when you need to heal up, reset, all that stuff, you don't need the mana. So when you break out of it, you have to cast the Breakout to get this. Another 25%. And I need to check if casting the Breakout, because I haven't gotten these 2 talents yet. I'm like right here in my current progression, but I need to test if the Breakout here will, I think the Breakout may also cast this ability again. I know when you cast it for the first time you get that, but I don't know if you cast the Breakout, right? Exit or Breakout with your left mouse button to get this buff, which is strange. Yeah, it is. If you break out here, then you actually effectively can break out with a 45% damage reduction, which is insane. You'd be tanky AF with that, right? Not to mention, powder burn, fire staff burns, all these other, or if you get poison shotted or all these things, you can just immediately cleanse those and not take all that. Like a 20-second poison shot just completely negated, right? A 13-second powder shot completely negated, right? All that stuff, all debuffs, all slows, whatever. You can just completely cleanse yourself and move back on like nothing happened. And not to mention you're getting back to full health, usually by eating an Entomb, especially if you have good food, which then allows for Frozen Touch, right? And this Frozen Touch also works with Ice Storm. If you run up right next to them and you don't have this and they're on you and you use this, you're putting them in another 50% slow. Okay, imagine that, another 50%, another way to slow them. So this is just like all slows. You're just going to slow them to complete utter snail movement and wiggle your way around them with movement speed to then and just pound them. So the goal is to just be running around people that are just so slow that they can't chase you. And then that just gives you to the last talent, the 10% more movement speed in a frosted area. And that's really the last one you need. This doesn't do much. I mean, the next talent I would take is this one, because if you were to Ice Shower, realize you're in trouble right next in the Ice Shower, you could Entomb and then break the tomb if you just want to protect and some quick damage. And then you could Ice Storm right away, standing in the same Ice Shower, and have Ice Shower back basically 40% off cooldown already with 2 clicks right there. And Entomb would be another 20% off cooldown right there too, because it's whatever ones are already on cooldown. So then you've basically have this ability to constantly cast all of your abilities in quick succession, which is just so good. And you don't need anything else, because mana, Ice Gauntlet, if you notice, runs out of mana very, very fast. They have ways to keep their mana. However, it's still easy to run out of it. It gets really strong at 200 skill where you get that roll. But even still, you cast this ability 25 mana. You cast this ability 25 mana. There's half your mana right there. You only get 10 mana back from a roll. And they can't roll as much because they're not Dex build. So it's harder for them. They have to use mana pots. They have to find other ways to get mana. They have to wait for their mana in Entomb. You don't have to wait for that. There's nothing. You're not ever worried about mana whatsoever, and you're able to fully utilize the entire utility here. Now the rest of the way, the rest is all just icing on the cake. It's nothing that's going to change your life. Yeah, and decrease mana cost by 80% does nothing. You do it to get the damage, which again, you have no intellect really, so no real damage. But it doesn't matter to take. So if you just have points at this point, it doesn't matter. You don't need this. This isn't going to change your life because it's not going to do a whole lot of damage. It'll help. So we take it because it helps. And then the rest of the stuff like this, I don't anticipate ever needing this. It's really, really good if you're Ice Gauntlet, because the heavy attacks root them. But I mean, I don't know why I would be casting a heavy attack to root somebody, because unless they're so low and I just want to, and they're just rooted and I can just kill them with that. But otherwise, I don't really care. And then it's whatever you want. Like, do you want increased crit chance? Like, I don't think that helps the Storm. I've never seen the Storm crit. Maybe it does. but if the storm crits, that's good. If for some reason this was bugged and allowed all abilities to increase crit chance by 20%, but it doesn't work for your offhand weapon, unfortunately, as far as I know. But that's the whole idea. So a quick recap. When you're playing Bow Ice Gauntlet, the play is to, if they're running away or they're running towards you, I always try to Ice Storm them to get an initial slow if they're running away. If they're running towards me, it's an easy Ice Shower, or I run up to them and I smack them with the Ice Shower. After you smack them with the Ice Shower, you can Ice Storm, and then immediately as soon as you cast the Ice Storm, you can animation cancel after it's already gets off into a back roll, into 20% more damage, into a heavy shot. If you do this right, the right way to do this, roll in Ice Shower. Don't even Ice Storm. You just roll in Ice Shower, roll out, opening strike, heavy shot, with all the damage modifiers that you have while they're rooted. Then you can immediately rapid shot into a normal shot penetrating shot, animation cancel. Then you use the rain of arrows to. This is much easier to hit because it's a little area. You can kind of predict the area. It takes practice, but that would be the next thing. I'd use this last, even though it puts a bleed on them and slows them. It really depends, because like them being stuck in place makes this easy to hit too. Like if they're stuck in place from this, that's going to be easier to hit. So, but the rapid shot does the most damage, right? 350 compared to 230 compared to 150. You want to get the 350 off after a 260 whatever plus headshot. 260, 280, 300. Really, it's like a 300 headshot if you can opening strike headshot, not counting for extra headshot damage, into a rapid shot, into a penetrating shot for a quick kill. Usually, if you do this into this, they'll be dead pretty much every time. And I cast this because it's fast casting, but then you could do Rain of Arrows instead because it does more damage than this, and then it guarantees that they're still slowed for another 4 seconds. So I have to still play with this. Maybe this is even better to do next. Maybe you do rapid shot into this, because then right as the other slow is falling off, by the time you finish casting a heavy shot into a rapid shot, the other slow is basically going to be off of them. Then you have this next slow on them, another 15% slow, and then you can do another 25% slow. So then they're slowed 40% for another 4 seconds probably, if you can land it right on them. Granted, they can start dodging, but if they're dodging while they're super slow, they're not going very far. And then you can get your kill shot off, right? So there's a lot of really, really good combos with this build. It's really, really strong. Highly recommend it to everybody. I have been loving it so far. And I'm going to have a video coming out soon showing you guys how I have been using it. It's been really good. I'm really enjoying it. And I think, and I hope at least that maybe this gives you some inspiration to try it yourself. But with that, I'm going to end the video. Thank you very much for watching. This is Saverick. I appreciate you. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye.